You are now listening to Hoardganize with professional organizer and extreme cleaner Rachel Seavey. Every Sunday at 6 p.m., Rachel shares organizing tips and hacks. Rachel combines her experience, expertise, and compassion to help people learn new methods on how to deal with overwhelming clutter. Her media appearances include The Hoarders Show, the CBS Sunday Morning Show, and the Lady Brain Show. Take it away, Rachel.
Hey, collectors. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hoardganize Podcast. I am your host, Rachel Seavey, professional organizer. Welcome. We are now on episode 5 of the Where Do I Begin series. Congratulations, you made it halfway. This episode is all about donations. You are going to learn how to decide what to donate, how to prepare your donations, and how to get them to the needy people. Let's start out by chatting a bit on how we can determine an item is a donation. I actually really like to play a game that I learned from the ICD, the Institute for Challenging Disorganization, and Judith Kohlberg's teachings. It's called Friend, Acquaintance, Stranger. They might have a different variation, but this is what I'm calling it, and it might be the same. So we all know how our body responds when we see people that we know and love, people that we kind of know, and people that we don't know, right? It's all physiological. You might actually have those same physical reaction when you're working with your belongings. So let's start with friends. You see a friend after a long time away, and you are so ecstatic. You're reunited. It feels amazing. And you've even maybe thought about this friend and had been wondering what she had been to and where she had been that whole time. Oh my goodness, you see an old dear friend, your whole body reacts. You smile, you feel warm, your eyes brighten up, and your arms go out. You embrace them. Your heart might flutter. Not only are you responding mentally, but you are responding physically. You may think of the items that you really, really love and cherish as your good friends or family. Now, hopefully you see where I'm going with this. We all have acquaintances, neighbors, coworkers. Some of them we kind of like. Some of them are okay. And some of them we don't really like that much. You know how it is. You see them in the hallway and perhaps a fake smile squeezes out, a little wave. Your eyes are avoiding their eyes. Your heart is racing. You don't want to have to stop and talk to them. You might have to pull a stiff hand out to shake theirs. But in your heart and your mind, you know that there are no plans for getting together anytime soon outside of where you know each other. So these are your acquaintances. It's not that you don't hate these people, but they're just meh, whatever. So let's move on to the items around your home that you really don't care about. These could be gifts that you never really liked and you haven't gotten a regifting, and so they've just kind of collected. These could be duplicates, impulsive purchases, items that no longer fit, items that don't even serve you. Now, you may need some of them instrumentally, but a lot of them are just there, collecting dust. And it's quite common that these are probably the items that you're going to get stuck on because you just are not quite sure how you feel about them. That's normal. Just try and listen to your body. Practice makes perfect. Now let's move on to strangers. We are always taught to never talk to strangers. Let's roll with that rule in our progress and our work together. Do you have items in your home that you can't recall acquiring? Do you have just no idea how they ended up in your possession? These are strangers. Do you have items you cannot stand? Maybe they make you feel ugly. They don't work. They're broken. These are strangers. Get rid of them right away. If your body tenses up, backs away from, or cannot stand that item, it is a stranger and do not talk to it. Donate it or toss it as appropriate. Collectors, you can actually tune into your body using this game and learn how you feel about items that belong to you. Hone in on that intuition and your body's responses. Let your body tell you what to keep and what to donate. I get it. Your mind is cluttered, just as cluttered as your home. So using your body is a great way to help you decide. Pick up each item and ask yourself, is this a friend, acquaintance, or stranger? How does that feel? Again, practice makes perfect. I don't expect you to only use this sense or method, but definitely try and incorporate it when you're trying to make a decision. Okay, we are now moving on to how to prepare your stuff to be donated. I hear this a lot. Oh, I need to wash this or repair this or find the instructions to before donating an item. You are hanging on to stuff that can be donated as is. For one, I will tell you that donation centers bulk wash. Your items, your clothing, it's your towels and bedding, all of that's going to be re-washed before it goes to the donation facility or to the needy. Second, I'm going to cover neatly folding. And if you have OCD, you might actually cringe when I say this. This might really, really be hard for you, and you might not be able to do this, but I really, really want you to try. Okay, here it goes. You do not need to neatly fold your donations. Okay, take a deep breath. You are now facing your perfectionism. Collector Care goes to donation centers daily. I have literally watched people shake out each item, hold it up in the sunlight, check for damage, looking for holes before it even gets thrown into the bin for bulk washing. So in my opinion, all of those hours that you spent washing and folding your donations have gone to waste. Think of what else you could have accomplished in that time, especially if you are a hoarder or you have extreme clutter. You are wasting valuable decluttering time washing and folding your donations. I understand that you are so paralyzed by what people think. So let's talk about this for a moment. Let's really pick this apart for a moment because I want you to understand where I'm coming from. You think that the donation people are going to think you are inconsiderate. Maybe they'll even think you're a slob for sending in your donations unwashed and unfolded. They're going to think you are an awful, awful, terrible person. Wrong. The donation center people are constantly processing stuff and don't have time to talk about you. Sorry. I have gone hundreds and hundreds upon times with unfolded, dirty, donations, and they have never said anything except for thank you. I have literally so many times I can't remember, rolled up with 45 to 100 large contractor bags full of dirty clothing, and they have done nothing but say thank you, help me unload, give me a receipt, and move on with the rest of their day. I have pulled up with stuff that smells funky many, many times, and no one has ever said anything. I've never been disrespected. I've never been called out. Let's think about this. Collectors, the people that work at these centers are usually minimum wage, hardworking people. Some of them have addiction issues they're resolving. Some of them have disabilities. Most of them have families. They're not into this to publicly shame you. Okay, so I really want you to think about that unrealistic belief of what the donation center people will think about you. If you're concerned about them seeing your name, address, which you don't ever have to put on, but your name on the donation slip, let's think about that. Then what? Are they going to come find you? Are they going to write a newspaper article about you? I don't think so. Your fear is not realistic. Most of the time, you don't even have to fill out your information while you're there. You can just ask for a blank receipt. This way, they won't know your name or personal information. Okay, so try your best to not wash and fold your donated clothing. I know it's so hard, but just think it through. No one cares, and you're wasting your time. Your perfectionism is getting in the way. And let me tell you, I know that most of my clients are perfectionists, even my hoarding clients. Perfectionism is definitely worth its own episode here at the Hoardganize Podcast. Here's your takeaway from this particular episode on perfectionism. Do not let your perfectionism or fear of what people think get in the way of being efficient and making steady decluttering progress. I'm just going to say it one more time. Do not let your perfectionism or fear of what people think get in the way of being efficient and making steady decluttering progress. Next, something I hear just as much. Oh, I need to mend this or fix this before I donate it. Okay, when this makes sense for some things if they're a quick fix and you know what you're doing. However, if this item has been sitting around broken for you to fix it in your house, if this item has been sitting around broken for you to fix it, and your house is a complete disaster, I invite you to let it go. No one's going to miss it at the donation center, and you're not going to hell. Think to yourself, why do you feel so wasteful for throwing out a broken item? Do you feel guilty? Are you a waste not, want not type of a person? I get it. But let's think. Realistically, how long has this item been broken? How long is it going to take you to fix it? Do you have the right supplies? Is this a hot ticket item and the donation center desperately needs and desires it? Or is it just a mediocre item that might be antiquated? or a dish that isn't worth more than $1. Collectors, I want you to think about your ultimate vision. Does fixing broken items help you get there quickly, or is it going to hold you back? How about a game or an item that has no instructions? I'm telling you, I'm going to cover everything that I personally hear in the field. Hopefully you're taking some notes, because if you're listening to this podcast, this particular episode is really going to help you a lot. And I suggest that you listen to it multiple times so that you get the hang of making those important decisions. So, back to a game or an item that has no instructions. You know the instructions are somewhere. So, you're just going to hang on to that game or appliance, whatever it is, until those two are reunited. Well, hey, collectors, welcome to 2016. Instructions are online. Yes, most games and toys and appliances have instructions available online. I know it feels terribly awkward because you're a perfectionist and you want it all perfectly together before you donate it. But I encourage you, for the sake of efficiency, go ahead and donate it without the instructions. Okay, I know it feels uncomfortable. I'll let my OCD listeners grab some water or do what they need to do to digest that. But go ahead and donate an item without instructions. It is literally taking up space in your home that you need right now. And by the way, Murphy's Law, and I chuckle because you know it, is that you're always going to find the instructions after you donate it. And you're going to feel flustered, okay? It's okay. Go ahead and throw out the instructions. Recycle them. Don't call the donation center. They're not going to reunite it. Don't feel guilty or sick about it. Don't obsess about it. I find that my clients spend so much time stressing about fixing, washing, whatever about their donations that they're putting less energy into their home than they are their donations. I want you to focus that direction on items you're keeping. Please try not to put more energy into your donations than you do for yourself and your home. Please do not put more energy into your donations than you do for yourself or your home. You have a lot of work to do. Save valuable time and energy by allowing yourself to not be perfect. I get paid to be efficient, okay? I am personally teaching you how to tackle your stuff and take control of it, not be afraid of it. You will learn how to make some decisions on this podcast about facing your stuff by facing those uncomfortable and sometimes irrational feelings and beliefs you have about the process. So, we have covered washing, folding, fixing, and reuniting of donations. What about those items that you just are not sure that the donation center will take? Do they take really old, worn out shoes? Do they want clothing with holes in it? If you would not go into that center and wear that stuff today, most likely no one else will either. Don't feel guilty about throwing out worn, torn items. It's so much easier on the donation center. They don't have to absorb the cost of disposing these items. Most donation centers do not mend items, so if you have something with a rip or a tear, I invite you to just let it go. Don't make the donation center pay your garbage fees. They will throw it out. Only donate usable items. Slightly warm is fabulous, even if it's 20, 30 years old. If there are no holes in it and there's no mending needed, it's not ripped or torn, that item is a great choice. They're going to wash it and put it out there for people that need it. So now you have a few bags or boxes and you're ready to get some of your donations out of your home so you can start reclaiming your space. Where do you take them? Some places like Goodwill or Salvation Army will do a bulk pickup. Go ahead and research places online or in your yellow pages to see if there is an availability for bulk pickup, if you feel okay about that. You might be worried about your unwashed and unfolded donations and what they'll think when they pick them up. I know you very well. Using your small bags so you don't hurt yourself, load up your car and drive to the center. That's another option. Go online and find a place. Try and only to choose one center. I know that you want every item to go to its perfect place, but at this point in your life, collectors, it's about you, not the donation centers. You must get rid of all that stuff in your home. Save yourself some time and energy, if you don't mind, by just getting it to the closest center. Go ahead and look online or in your yellow pages for your local Goodwill, Salvation Army, St. Vincent de Paul. So, a lot of my hoarding clients and chronically disorganized clients don't like the Goodwill or the larger outfits. They feel like they don't like for-profit business, I guess would be the thought behind that. And I get it. So if you don't like the larger outfits, find a close outfit that resonates with you. It could be a battered women's shelter. It could be for disabled children, cancer patients, whatever resonates with you. Go ahead and do your research either online or in your phone book and find a close donation center that you feel resonates with you. Okay? My point, collectors, about this entire episode is don't make a career out of your donations. Your time and energy is needed in your home, not making a career out of your donations. Get your home back together. Let go of that perfectionism in order to move on ahead at a really good pace. Promise me that you will at least try. I know this is so out of your comfort zone, especially if you have OCD. But I promise you that these simple steps will save you hours and hours of your time. Stay tuned, my dear collectors, as we will be entering the second half of this series. And this is the what now part. Now that you've been given all of these tools in episodes 1 through 5 that you need to go through your clutter and make decisions, what the heck do you do now? I'm sure you're just sitting there wondering. So I'll be discussing how to use all of the tips that we learn in episodes 1 through 5 throughout the entire home. Until next time, collectors, and remember, happiness is a place between too little and too much. Happiness is a place between too little and too much.
Thanks for tuning in to Hoardganize with Rachel Seavey. Listen every Sunday at 6 p.m. or watch on Collector Care's YouTube channel. Rachel is the owner of Collector Care Professional Organizers and Extreme Cleaners located in sunny Northern California. Her passion is helping those overwhelmed with clutter, and she regularly speaks to families, local agencies, and the public about chronic disorganization and hoarding disorder. Her popular Affirmations for Collectors download can be found on iTunes or Amazon. Sign up for her blog and receive 7 tips for clutter-free living at collectorcare.com.